following AOR livestream is brought to you by the following sponsors: Elgato Gaming Hype Energy Drinks, Thrustmaster and GT Omega Racing. Make sure to check them out in the description down below after the race. Hello and welcome one more time back to Apex Online Racing for yet more live coverage of the Hype Energy Drinks F1 2018 League. We are as usual here on the PlayStation 4 in F2 Tier 2 for the console, and it is round 14 from the Temple of Speed, that is Monza. It is the Italian Grand Prix. Now, Monza has hosted every Italian Grand Prix except for 1980, where it was hosted at Imola, and the track is obviously still the fastest on the calendar. It's also hosted some of the closest raced finishes back in the day before the chicanes were put into place, with 5 drivers crossing the line within a matter of tenths of each other back in the 1960s. The race tonight is still going to be absolutely fast and furious, even though they've got the 3 chicanes in there, and it is going to be a frantic race from start to finish. Race tyres this weekend are the red super softs, the yellow soft tyres and the white medium tyres for what is going to be an exciting race, which is obviously going to have, as we can see just now, a wet qualifying session. Last week in Belgium, our Spa Day turned into a very exciting race, which was won by Sean in the Ferrari, who made his comeback after a race ban at Hungary and retook the championship lead from the H-Eagle. Can he take the Scuderia to a famous home victory here tonight, or will someone upset the apple cart? Joining me one more time, as my name is Andy, in the box is Ollie. Ollie, this is going to be a frantic race here. We were just talking about it very briefly there. A wet qualifying really throws a bit of a difference into the works though.
Yeah, the Tifosi wait with bated breath as to whether Sean can bring home the bacon. Of course, keeping a close eye on his teammate Davidos, who's had a string of podiums in recent races, picking up, I believe it was 3 or 4 on the bounce for him, so getting out of his teammate's shadow just slightly, but Sean, as you mentioned, regaining the championship lead. I just rode on board with Blizzard as he headed into turn 1. Him and Ash Bess have both completely locked up going into turn 1, which is going to be a tough one down into Rettifilo. The first and second before that early chicane, especially if it's wet. It's going to be a braking zone. It's going to be difficult to find early on because of how long it is and how high speed these guys will be going. But we've got some iconic corners, of course, around here. We're coming up to the Lesmos with Ash and Blizzard, who are both just getting their feelers out on these intermediate tyres. Obviously last week, of course, we had them weird conditions where it was dry / intermediates, but nobody could really get a grip to what we were looking at, and it was a very strange Grand Prix, but one that was exciting nonetheless. Of course, Ascari, one of the most famous corners, named after an iconic driver here in the Italian, for the Italian and the Tifosi. The Ferrari fans here will be looking forward to what can hopefully be a classic Grand Prix. As mentioned, the wet qualifying session should throw up a few spanners, with obviously great cornering, overtake opportunities, especially I would say down to Curva Parabolica, or just what everyone else calls the Parabolica, technical name Curva Parabolica. It's a difficult overtaking opportunity, but if you do get the maximum speed out of the exit, you can actually get a very good run heading into turn 1. So we'll keep a close eye on what the guys are able to do. The first man to set a lap, I believe, is going to be Blizzard. So we'll keep a close eye on him as he heads down to turn 1. Braking zone, I'd imagine about 150 to 100 is where you want to go. Because of the full locking up, you can be a little bit risky around here. He's taken turn 1 and 2 very nicely there as he heads down into Curva Grande. Let's see what Blizzard can do.
Yeah, so the Renault driver heading through the Curva Grande now, having came out of the Roggia chicane, heading up to the second chicane on the track. Tricky braking zone just under the old bridge there into the left-hander. You can see he's run very wide there, struggling for grip on the wet surface, and he's going to pull to the side as Ash is coming as well, so we'll jump on board with Ash because it looks like Blizzard is backing out as he got Ash now going through the first of the Lesmo corners at the back end of the track, and then coming through the second Lesmo as we head down the back end of the track back towards the start and finish line. You've got underneath the bridge at the moment, that's where the old banking circuit used to be going back in the day. There was really steep banking it was, and then into the Ascari chicane, as you mentioned there, Ollie, down to 4th gear. It's very easy to get it wrong through there. You can overcommit through that and it can cost you a lot of time. Corner cutting is something the drivers are going to have to be very aware of in this race with these 3 chicanes. And then down towards the Curva Parabolica, as you say, the official proper name for it. Ash down to 4th gear. just running the car gently wide, just gently squeezing the throttle on, just pretending there's an egg underneath that, and heading towards the line. He's going to be the first one to complete a lap. It's a 1 minute 28.7 from the McLaren driver, and obviously as the drivers find their feet, expect those times to tumble. Seen from the chat as well, Casper has put up there, it is a wet qualifying, but it's going to be a dry race, so not going to have to worry about those awkward conditions that we had last week in Spa, Ollie.
Yeah, that's definitely a positive for most of these guys. Only one guy isn't out on track at the moment, that is VP McGrady. So the two VP guys of Daniel and McGrady here. VP, of course, taking a bit of a hit for their drivers recently. We should mention that PS4 F1 drivers Tim Palm and Eagle Killer both got signed up for the Williams team, so huge congratulations to them. So, you know, good sign for the PS4 side. We're getting them guys out there and showing their talents. I believe on that list now we've got quite a few guys up there, including Ollie D, of course, racing for Veloce. We've got a lot of guys who are going to try and prove their worth here, and one of which is Sean, who's come under a lot of fire and criticism as of late from a few people here and there, but he's stuck his Ferrari on pole position. I'm not sure if you heard it, but there was a minor roar from the crowd. The Italian flags are flying high, but the Italian flags are going to be dimmed just slightly as the H-Eagle puts his car now on pole position, 1/10 up on Sean. We're just shy, of 1/10. Sauber, not really an Italian team, but they've got that sort of B-team flair, but nothing B-team about the Eagle Killer's performance so far in this qualifying session. We should run you through, though, the key overtaking opportunities. We mentioned, of course, turn 1 down at Rettifilo. Turn 3, I would say turn 4, but if you want to say the chicane down at Rettifilo, you've then got the Roger chicane, which H-Eagle is just heading down into now, going left and right, heading into the two Lesmos, and of course Ascari. Those are the heaviest of the braking zones on this track, so they're going to be the ones where you can see the most likely overtaking opportunities, two of which have DRS zones leading into them. We've mentioned Parabolica about how it can be a tricky one, but the overtaking opportunities are pretty much endless around this track. Every single corner has the opportunity to overtake. Probably the most difficult ones to do so will be down into the Lesmos because of how tight and how angular they are. And as we mentioned, the old embankment, the Lesmos still kind of have that vibe of the embankment as you have to hug the right-hand side of the first one especially, and you have a minor degree change as you head round there. Sean has now put his car on pole position again, so the chopping and changing between himself and the H-Eagle seems like it's not going to come to an end, but it is Sean from the H-Eagle, and this is setting up nicely for a little battle between the championship rivals. It's 0.3 of a second between Sean and the H-Eagle. At the moment, though, it is the Flying Dutchman who has the upper hand in the Ferrari.
Definitely so, and the home fans will be pretty happy with that. The last time Ferrari actually won the Italian Grand Prix was back in 2010 with Fernando Alonso, and obviously Fernando just half an hour ago has been crowned the winner of the Rolex 24, the Daytona 24-hour race, racing for Cadillac over there. So that rain-affected race means that Fernando now has two 24-hour championships to his name, Daytona and Le Mans, but he was the last Ferrari winner at Monza all the way back in 2010, so it's been a pretty barren spell for the Scuderia. Obviously, don't forget as well, the likes of Cherry Tupai and Casper in the Toro Rosso. This is technically a home race for Toro Rosso as well, based at Faenza, where it used to be the old Minardi HQ there, so there's always a chance there, if the Ferraris do falter, that one of the Toro Rosso drivers might pick up a bit of national honour there. But Sean is in the lead at the moment, 3/10 clear of Daniel in second, H-Eagle down into third place with Kieski in fourth, Lee Findlay in fifth, who's already got some support in the chat from Fatal Slayer as well, who wants him to win. Tactician is in sixth place in the Red Bull. Cherry Tupai, who's just coming through the Lesmos, he's in seventh in the Toro Rosso. Blizzard in eighth in the Renault, he's in the pits at the moment. Vettel Racer ninth, just heading under the old bank in there towards Ascari. And Dawidos in the second Ferrari rounds out the top 10. Then it's Ash, Sam, Ruben, Casper, Datnek in 15th, Jim Pasty in 16th, Joggler and McGrady haven't set lap times, and you'll notice that Nico is out of the session already. That is because due to a qualifying incident last week with Jundu, Nico picked up a qualifying ban, so he will start at the back of the grid. But remember, he started quite low down last week and he finished up towards the front end of the grid, so could he do that again? We'll find out in the race, which is coming up within the next 10 minutes roughly.
The only issue for Nico, and I think this will be something he'll be pretty gutted about, is the fact that everyone is going to get to start on fresh tyres, as we imagine the next session of the race is going to be a dry session, so everyone will get a fresh choice of tyres, which really does make it a little bit more interesting. Two reasons why is you've got to keep an eye on the strategy. What strategy is everyone going to go for? As you mentioned, the 3 tyre choices they have. Are you going to go for the hardest compound tyre first and get them out of the way, go a little bit longer, then go on to a softer compound, or start as pacey as possible, build up a gap? It's very difficult to overtake around here, so I would go for the more elongated version and try and be a bit more safe with the tyres. The H-Eagle is just ramping up for a lap here. We'll keep a close eye on him as he heads down into turn 1 later on the braking to try and open up this corner. This he's able to do. It's very, very smooth from him riding on board. He's taken that pretty much perfectly. Yellow flag in sector 3. I believe this guy's backing up. It was in fact all of them backing up. Long sweeping hander. Vettel, of course, making an iconic F1 moment as they come into the second chicane of 3. Want to be nice and early on these brakes. You can get corner cut warnings if you're too early. It looks like he's just about got that nicely, the H-Eagle. He's opening that up now through the 2 les modes. You're going to see this embankment on the right hand side where it just dips down a little bit and takes you into the corner nicely. Nice and smooth, but he's a little bit risky with these wet conditions. Lee Findlay goes on pole position, so it looks like the track is improving slightly. The second DRS zone now, no DRS available to these guys because of these intermediate conditions. There is a car ahead of the H-Eagle at the moment. This is coming into the iconic Ascari chicane. Left, right, and then left again. It's a beautiful section of corners, a faster version, you could say, of Maggots and Beckett's, my apologies. Getting that slipstream off Joglar there on the right-hand side may just gain him a couple of temps as you kind of come through curve about Parabolica now. Nice right-hander. You want to take a narrow line and then open it up here as much as possible. Maximum power. Don't want to lose the rear end. He is slightly losing it. You want to get that dry line. Then it's full power down the start-finish straight, a narrow line as possible. He moves himself ahead of Sean, but only by 0.03 of a second. Mentioned before then about the perfect but the 2 factors you've got. The tyres is the first one, of course, but the second one is the setup. What setup are these guys going to go for? Lee Findlay, 3 tenths faster than everyone at the moment. Maybe he's on a dry setup because you can tweak it based on your ballast and your front wings and how you're going to base it to get that qualifying position. Or other guys, you know, say Davidos, VP Vettel Racer, Blizzard at the moment, who are 1.1 seconds off. Have they gone for dry setups ready for the race? That's another factor. We'll keep a close eye on that, of course.
Definitely so, and obviously with Park Fermi, once they set out to start their qualifying, they're stuck with that setup for the rest of the race. So it's definitely going to be interesting. I'm going to guess if it's a dry race, most of them will have a drier or a dry setup on the car. It would be quite crazy to go for a wet setup just purely for qualifying and then have to run with all that extra wing in the race, especially around here. You're going to get slipstreamed very easily through the race itself. Datnek in the Force India has just moved up into 13th place. Ash at the moment heading down towards the Ascari chicane. He's in 14th place at the moment, and you can see all the way down to Jim Pasty, less than 2 seconds separate as Ash runs very wide through the Ascari chicane, so that's going to invalidate that lap time for him. Casper at the moment is on an outlap. He's just coming up towards the second chicane, the Rogia chicane here, just trying to pick the right line through the corners. He's just using a bit of the curb there, a bit of wheel spin on the exit curb. He needs to be careful. He's been one of the more consistent drivers this season, has Casper. Got unlucky last week getting caught out in an incident on lap 1 that dropped him right the way down the field. And I need to do one wee bit actually while we are watching Casper. I found this out last week. You might find this is quite cool, Ollie. Hello to Mr. and Mrs. Casper, because Casper told me last week his mum and dad watch every single race that he competes in. Yeah, I was really surprised at that. So hello to Mr. and Mrs. Casper as well. Hope you're enjoying the coverage from us. I'm sure your boy's going to do very well. He's coming through the Ascari chicane just now, down towards the Parabolica. We'll just follow him through to the end of this lap that he's on just now. I think he's just winding up actually to start a lap. Yes, he is, so we'll actually skip on. But yeah, he told me that one last week, and I found that was absolutely amazing. So he's obviously got some really good support there, keeping an eye on him. So brilliant stuff, and hopefully everyone's enjoying this. I wish I could shout everybody out, but I can't quite do that. Lee Finlay still in pole position at the moment. Kiski has moved up into second place there with his latest lap, just 5/100ths down on Lee's time. Tactician up to third. The pad runner is having a good time of it at the moment in the rain. The H-Eagle fourth. Sean down in fifth place. Blizzard in sixth. Daniel is in seventh, heading towards the Scary. Cherry 2Pie in eighth place on his outlap. Rubens just came back into the pits in ninth. And RC Sam is just heading out of pit lane. He's in 10th. And the top 10 covered by 0.8 of a second. So even with the rain, we've still got a very close field.
Yeah, Casper lap time, riding on board with him there. It's a little bit scruffy, but he seems to be doing his mum and dad proud at the moment. Looks to be on a much quicker lap, and I'm looking, Cherry 2Pie here is actually now looking to give him a slipstream. So I believe him and Casper, from what I know, have been practicing the slipstream and they've been working together, and it looks like it's going to work. Cherry 2Pie's pulled over to one side just before Ascari, and Casper's going to finish his lap, and I imagine Casper's going to do him the same favour as he goes down the start-finish straight. So it looks to be a clever tactic here from the Toro Rosso boys. Let's see what they do. Cherry 2Pie is keeping relatively close behind, so it looks like a slipstream from these two. Ferrari-esque, of course, from the Alonso Massa days. They love to slipstream down at the red Ferrari boys, down the prancing horse. They love it. But the Toro Rossos are going to try and spoil that parade and be the top Italians here today. Casper coming across the line, and he's just not been able to do much there. It's not really a quick time from Casper. And looking behind, I think Cherry 2Pie is ramping up for a lap, but there is a slow-moving Haas just exiting the pit, so he's not really close, Cherry 2Pie, from Casper there, which is quite surprising. I thought he'd give him a bit more of a tow. So yeah, Cherry 2Pie is not close at all, so maybe he's going to do it down one of the back straights, but he's got a bit of a gap. So Cherry 2Pie maybe a man to keep a close eye on at the moment. But at the moment, he's Lee Finley from Keyski and Dan Daniel with Tactician 4th, which I'll be completely honest with you, Andy, I would not have put money on them guys being up there. Dan Daniel is now retired from the session, whether that's him crashing or just deciding to end it early. But I thought Sean and the H-Eagle on early pace would be up there, but it is a very tight qualifying session from, let's say, 4th to 8th is very, very close. Obviously, temps aren't really massive gaps, but for just 1/10 between the lot of them is very tight at the moment.
I've just seen it there. I was riding on board with Davidos. The reason Daniel's out is he's lost it on the exit of the Scary chicane. He's at the side of the track where the short version of the track meets back into the actual racetrack itself.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
binned it on the exit, so that's what's put the Haas driver out of the session. So not what he wanted to do. He's up in P3 at the moment, so depending on how the other guys can improve, if they can do in this last 2 minutes, it might not be the worst thing. And obviously at least he doesn't need to start on those tyres because it's a dry race. Davidos is just heading across, he's just headed across the line. He's about to start a flying lap possibly at the moment. I'm not too sure. In fact, no, he's not. He's getting running the battery low, so he'll be heading for pit lane. Sean's just came back out of pit lane to have another go. Blizzard's just coming out, keeping out of the way. Some of the cars coming down the front straights. We're into the final minute and a half, and Lee Finley locking up going into the first chicane at the Rettifilio, and he's on the pole position at the moment. Kieski, who's just gone through the second Lesmo corner, he's in second at the moment. Daniel, who's crashed out, in third. Tactician in fourth place at the moment, as we're just talking about. And H-Eagle here coming towards Parabolica. He's just getting it lined up to start a lap as well, so keep an eye on his progress. Davidos heading back to pit lane, I would imagine, because he's got the battery turned down. Either that or he's lining it up to have one more go. Sean's on his outlap, Blizzard on his outlap, that's 7th and 8th. Cherry 2Pie has got 9th place, heading towards the Scary, being passed by Sean, I believe that is, and Ruben in 10th, running very wide out the second Lesmo. Needs to be careful he doesn't do that too much, but he's getting ready to line it up. So I think the Parabolica is going to turn into a bit of a car park in a moment in this last 30 seconds. We've got quite a few cars down the back straight. Cherry 2Pie trying to stay out of the way. Sean's warming his tyres up. There's a Haas in there. There's a Renault in there as well, I believe. There's a McLaren and a Williams. So this is going to get very interesting. 30 seconds to go. And it could be, because of a wet session, the last one over the line, if they can avoid any trouble. But it's definitely going to be interesting this last 30 seconds or so as everybody comes across the line. We'll keep an eye out and see who is the last one across the line. Ruben coming through at the moment, very wide on Parabolica. Could be RC Sam. In fact, no, RC Sam's not going to make it to the line in time.
I've just got to point out quickly, the H-Eagle, I think, may have just pulled off a bit of a tactical masterclass, because he has got nobody near him, and he's on a flyer. He's absolutely flying. He's about to finish his lap, and I've not seen a single car anywhere near him. So it just begs the question, why didn't people come out earlier?
Crazy, absolutely crazy. He's got no one in sight at all as he comes through Parabolica, the rear end trying to print. He pulls into pit lane. Nope, he doesn't. I thought he was going for the pits there. Can he improve on his time? He does, but it's only P3 for the Salba driver. As we look back down coming towards the Parabolica now is Kiski, currently in second place, just 5/100ths down as Jogler retires from the session. Datnek's gone across the line. RC Sam's gone over in 8th as well. Datnek in 15th. Can Kiski improve on second place? Can he steal pole position? No, he cannot. So he stays in second place for a moment. We're going to roll down the order. Sean's heading towards the Parabolica. He's got a gaggle of cars coming behind him as well. Can the championship leader steal pole position? Can the Tifosi have something to cheer about here? He's heading for the line. Is it quick enough from the Ferrari? It is! By 3/100ths of a second. He's sneak pole. Lee Finley's not going to improve. He's on the grass coming out of Ascari. Tactician's heading for a line. There's a few others heading across as well. Kiski in third, the H-Eagle 4th, Dawidos in 5th. There goes Ruben into 6th place. Here goes Tactician now across the line. What can the pad runner do? He can't improve on his time. Cherry Tupai now heads for a line. He's heading for the pits actually. And who is still left? That is it actually. Everybody's done. They're all across the line or retired into pits, and Sean carries on from where he picks up from where he left off last week, and it's Ferrari on pole position at Monza.
Yeah, a loud roar from the Scarlet Red fans. The Tifosi will be pleased with that. All Sean now needs to do is make sure he's on that top step of the podium for the iconic podium celebration. A couple of notes to keep an eye on. The slowest man, or the slowest person we should say, we don't know the gender or the age range of the drivers, but what we will say is the slowest driver out on track in qualifying there was Casper, which is almost unheard of. So these wet conditions really didn't favour him. And it is the man, of course, mentioned, the Flying Dutchman, as he's been quoted and known as Sean. He's a very confident driver, and he takes pole position, and he'll be loving that with Lee Findlay in second. The Finn of Kiski in third, the H-Eagle in fourth, not too far behind, very close qualifying session, we should mention. Davidos in fifth with Ruben in sixth. Seventh is VP Dan Daniel. Eighth is Tactician. Ninth is Blizzard. 10th is RC Sam, with 11th being VP McGrady. 12th, Cherry Tupai, VP Vettel Racer in 13th. Ash in 14th, Datnek 15th, Pasty 16th, Joglar 17th, Casper, the slowest driver, in 18th, and Nico, having a qualifying ban, starts in P19 out of P19. It's going to be a close one. I'd keep your close eyes on this one. Strategies are going to be tight. We're going to be seeing a lot of variance between the drivers. What is definitely for sure is that down into turn one, we're going to see some fireworks. So the Retafilo chicane and the fans down there could either be cheering for Sean or could be heartbroken if something goes horribly wrong. We'll keep an eye, of course, for our drivers and the guys we pick. On the standings, it is 10-4 to myself after last week. Andy backed... No, I backed Ruben, and Ruben finished
second.
Fourth or third? Second.
He finished fourth in the road and then jumped up to second with penalties.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
And I went with Ash.
Yeah, and Ash didn't do too badly, to be fair. Joglar's left. That's not ideal from him, but we'll keep an eye. I'm gonna look at the tyres before I pick my person, because I think there's a few guys I could pick, but if someone starts on intermediates, and they're just gonna throw it completely out the window. So
I'm just gonna, you know what? Then I'm just gonna jump in, right? Because I've just looked in the track. Casper, he's saying his wet pace is terrible, but I know from another league he had an absolute stonker around here. So I'm just going to jump on the boat. I'm going to pick Casper. I'm just going to jump in right now.
I know the league you're on about, and yeah, Casper, I believe, started on the mediums and got very, very good time and pace. So Casper is a good shout. The other one, of course, to keep a close eye on is the man that starts at the very back, Nico. And I'll be completely honest with you, I don't think anybody knows what pace Nico's going to have. I don't think Nico knows what pace he's going to have around here this afternoon. But the tyre choices for these guys, the top three are going on super soft, so going very aggressive. The H-Eagle going on the soft compound tyres. He's the highest of them runners. The mediums for Ruben is being joined by Joglar as well on the medium compound tyres, with RC Sam and VP Vettel both starting on the super soft tyres, with everyone else starting on the soft compound tyres. You've gone for Casper, and I'm going to go for... I mean, the safe bet really is Nico. I wouldn't say safe bet. He's got to start from the back, but he's got the most places to gain. Ash is another guy who I'm very impressed with his racing. And if VP Vettel would have been 2 or 3 further back, I would have said him. But I'm going to go Nico. You know, we'll make it an all back row affair. We'll keep an eye on the guys at the back. So I do apologise to... but Nico's just gone off down at Lesmo 1 into the wall on the formation lap, and that's very strange. That's not a great sign. Thanks, Nico. Really filling me with confidence there, but I'd like to apologise to the parents of Casper early on, because Andy has picked your child. That does mean that he will be DNFing within the first 10 laps, so you might be seeing him earlier than normal.
I'm not too sure. I mean, Nico's... if he's damaged the car or not. It'd be interesting to see if it's even possible to do that on the formation lap. As you say, maybe, you know, if that's the case, maybe you've picked the curse up instead. You never know. I'm surprised at the top three going for the super softs. They obviously feel that they've got enough enough pace, to be able to go full blast at the start. Obviously they've not had to qualify in these tyres, so they're going to gain a couple of extra laps out of it that they normally wouldn't do, but it's definitely going to be an interesting race. It's a long run down towards the first chicane at the Rettifilio, and it's always going to bring action, and obviously it could bring heartbreak as well. If someone locks up on their way down into turn 1, it could be straight into the back of someone else, and we could see the mother of all crashes. Hopefully that is not the case as they line back up on the grid. Sean in pole position with Lee Finlay in second, Kieske in third, H Eagle in fourth, and Davidos in fifth. So the Ferraris occupy two of the top 5 spots as we get ready for the start of the Italian Grand Prix. It's 27 laps here for Apex Online Racing's Hype Energy League. It's F2 on the PlayStation 4. The lights are on, the lights are out, and we are underway, and it looks like it's a decent start from Kieske. Actually, he's got a bit of a jump on Lee Finlay. Sean's having to defend. The Renault's going to the outside, they're wheel to wheel. We need to watch out for this. Goes into the chicane for the first time. Tactician's locked up right into the side of Davidos. Luckily no damage there, and it looks like everybody's managed to get through cleanly through the first chicane, so it's a good start so far from everybody. But up front, Sean's managed to hold the lead. Lee has got second place back off of Kieske, and he's now attacking, heading up to the Roggia chicane there, but he has to back out for the meantime as Kieske takes back third. Davidos up one place into fourth, Tactician in fifth. The H Eagle is in sixth place. He's lost a couple of places early doors. Has the Salba, and we've got a yellow flag in the background, and that is Ash and Blizzard sideways in the Renault. A wee bit of a push there on the McLaren as they went through the first of the Lesmos, but the McLaren manages to get back on track. That's a Williams going wide in the background. It looks like it might be Nico going wide there. They head down towards the Ascari chicane. There's action all over the place, and Ash is going battling with Casper actually as we go back here to the Ascari chicane. Casper's got through round the outside. The Ash VP Vettel racer holds on for now, and I don't even know where to look here, Ollie. It's all going on all over the place, but Sean's going to complete the first lap in the lead, and he's got 7 tenths at the moment over Lee Finlay. Kieske in third, Davidos in fourth, who's got a Tactician right behind in the slipstream in fifth. Keep an eye on them into the chicane next time by. H Eagle in 6th, Daniel in 7th, Blizzard 8th, Ruben 9th, McGrady rounds out the top 10. There goes Tactician with the Daniel Ricciardo launches, hit Kieske. Davidos has to take a void in action. Hopefully no damage to any car, and Tactician drops in behind, just locked up the brakes and nearly took the Renault out there.
Right, I'll give you a quick rundown then of what happened further down the grid. Casper got a lightning start. It was almost Valtteri Bottas Austria-esque. It was a quality start from him. But then he made a mistake at the second Lesmo, went a little bit wide, lost quite a few places, but then got back past Ash, and then there was a very tight moment. I'm not sure if you heard the intake of breath where Ash outbroke himself, and I'm not lying when I say he was millimetres away from hitting Casper's wheel, but Casper's had a very good start. You've got Cherry 2-Ply, Ruben and VP Vettel, who are all very, very tight as they head down the back straight. In fact, you could call it a Cherry 2-Ply train. He's got the 1462 to whatever London station you want, and it's definitely piling up. There's 3 or 4 carriages that are full of people, and the Tifosi are going to be loving this, especially at the moment with Sean on the top spot. A very, very risky bit of driving from Sean, it must be mentioned, down at turn 1. He did push Kieske off wide and then cut him off, and it could have caused some damage, so needs to keep it a little bit careful because he doesn't want to make enemies, especially with his state of penalty points in AOR, black flags and all that. Don't want to see him be removed. VP Vettel is hunting down Cherry 2-Ply. DRS is now enabled. He pulls off to the right hand side of him. He's now going to get the better line, presumably if he can get past Cherry 2-Ply before the braking zone. Cherry 2-Ply brakes slightly later, but VP Vettel on them red walled super soft tyres gets past the Toro Rosso driver pretty simply, meaning now Casper has to get past his teammate if he wants to get up into P11. We'll keep an eye on that battle. But yeah, we're going to see chopping and changing, like Blizzard and Tactician all going side by side at the moment. Blizzard holding the place off Tactician as things stand. It's all very tight. But big losers at the moment. Look at the gap between Davidos and Kiski. The top three, of course, are on super soft tyres, but Davidos could find himself in a bit of bother at the moment. But them top three are starting to pull away, but they are on the softest compound of tyres as things currently stand. The medium runner of Ruben, not had the greatest start, but still keeping himself competitive. Lee Findlay is getting closer and closer to Sean by the minute. Ascari, if he gets a good enough exit and gets that DRS down the start-finish straight, could be an overtaking opportunity for him. But we have seen side-by-side action for entire laps before, so this is going to be a very long Grand Prix, and I feel that pit stops could be vital.
Definitely so. We were watching a lot of the action as well, with Tactician losing places to Damn Daniel and to Blizzard as well, as Daniel runs very wide out of Parabolica. That's going to give Blizzard the chance down the front straight. They're both going to have DRS, but the Renault is side by side and has got the inside line for the chicane. Daniel's trying to come across a little bit as he fancies his chances on the H-Eagle Sauber. Blizzard's locked up going deep into the chicane, but he's got the move done. Daniel goes across the curb, and that's a decent move there from the Renault driver to move up into 6th place. His teammate is up on the podium step at the moment. Tactician fancies his chances of getting these places back. He gained a few places in the opening laps, but he's dropped back to where he started in P8. He has to drop back in for the meantime at the moment. Lee's dropped a little bit off the back. We've got a yellow flag somewhere in sector 2. Not too sure what's caused that one. Oh, it's Ash. He's off at the side of the road.
And Nico. Ash and Nico come together, and Nico's retired, so you were right. The curse has hit Nico in this regard. I believe there was contact down into the second chicane of Rogia. I did get just a brief look at it. It looked like that Nico just went for a manoeuvre on Ash, broke a little bit late, and I believe he's picked up too much damage, which is a bit of a shame for Nico because he was making some good progress through the field, which now makes it 10-5 guaranteed, and sadly, of course, we're very much upset. Unless, of course, Casper DNFs now, then neither of them have gained a single place, and it would be an absolute disaster, and we should never pick drivers again. But Casper's doing very, very good at the moment, making his way through the field. But just the train, I've kept an eye on it. Ash is retired as well now, so both of them picked up damage, and they feel like their races are all but over, and those were the two people I was considering picking, so not too great from me there. But this midfield scrap from Davidos downwards is very, very tight, and as you'd imagine, they're all on the exact same tyres apart from VP Vettel. And they're just squabbling and chopping and changing places, and I don't really think that any of these moves are moves that are going to be game changers and they're going to be race deciders, because they are just constantly changing places. Nobody can seemingly get a clean manoeuvre done. The only person really that's held onto their place consistently has been Davidos in 4th. He's just been 4th for quite a long time at the moment. Kiski's dropping a little bit behind the two front runners as well, so he needs to try and pick up the pace slightly. But this midfield squabble is going to probably keep us entertained for the entirety of the 27 laps. We're already on lap 5. It's going so quickly. We'll be through a quarter of a way through this race before you know it, and you know, we've got Cherry Tupai and Casper are probably the two guys, if I'm honest, who I would keep an eye on, because they seem to always pick up some places, especially Casper. The two of them are very plucky. Yellow flag in sector 2 looks to be just a little bit of drivers going wide at the exit of Ascari. I know it's Datnek. Datnek's gone and crashed out, I believe, at Ascari itself. So that's the 3rd retirement in 5 laps. So not ideal. Not ideal start at all. Of course, Joglar's not here, and the departure of RC Sam as well. So yeah, there seems to be a lot of guys making mistakes, and you wouldn't expect that around Monza very often.
Definitely not. I don't know quite what happened to Datnek, but he was running slowly and already left the session, going down towards Ascari as Blizzard gets past and up into 5th place, past the H-Eagle there. Just caught it in the background as we watched Davidos going through the chicane, but from Davidos down to Casper in 12th, this is just a train of cars all battling. They're all going to have DRS except for Davidos, but yet he's managing to stay just out of the way at the moment of all of this and able to hold on to his place. Kiski is falling back from the front two, which is Sean and Lee Finlay, but it's hard to go and keep an eye on the battle for the lead because all the action is here in the midfield pack. And as you say, some of these moves might not be game changers in terms of the overall finish, but it's given us some fantastic action to watch as they come blasting up to the Ascari chicane for the 6th time of this race, and 27 laps in total to do. And obviously the top 3 very shortly, as Ruben picks up the first 3-second time penalty. those guys are going to be pitting within the next couple of laps, you'd imagine, as well, along with VP Vettel Racer, who is just ahead of this battle here between Tactician and VP McGrady. So you need to watch. The super soft runners will be into the pits before long, but it's still Sean out in front from Lee Finley in second. We're just watching here, a lovely overhead shot which now switches as McGrady in the slipstream of Tactician. He pulls to the inside. Will he make a late braking move? No, he does not. His teammate Daniel locks up into the chicane. A little bump there from McGrady to the back of the Red Bull, and those two Toro Rossos are not too far behind as well. And if Ruben can get a move on before long, he'll be on the back of this as well. Big gainers so far. Vettel Racer up 5 places, Casper's up 6 places, Ruben down 7 places, but he is on those medium tyres, so he could still make it back. RC Sam is down 4 places, but he's no longer in control of the car. It's just ghosting around at the moment. And Jim Pasty is the last runner on the track in 15th. But plenty of action going on in the midfield, but it's still up front. Sean, who leads from Lee Finley in second. It looks like the Scotsman either maybe just sitting back or maybe just not quite got enough to be able to slipstream his way up to that Ferrari to take over the lead of the race. But the longer these guys can stay out, it's going to help their strategy on in the race. Davidos has managed to get out of DRS range, so it's now a Blizzard train. I never thought I'd be saying that, it just sounds so cool. But it's Blizzard that's got the train behind him. The H-Eagle, Daniel, Vettel Racer, Tactician, McGrady, Cherry 2-Pie, Casper. A huge train of cars as they come flying down the main straight one more time. Who's going to have a go? Will anybody fancy their chances into the chicane this time by? You can see the train behind. That is Cherry 2-Pie in the background going past VP McGrady. Can he get the move done? And that is a nice move there from the Toro Rosso driver, lovely done. And now his teammate Casper is going to see if he can pick up the pieces here, coming through the Curva Grande up towards the Rodria chicane. Can the young Dutchman get the move done? He's side by side, he's gaining as we go into the braking zone. Hard on the brakes, he gets the move done, and McGrady loses both places to both Toro Rosso drivers.
Yeah, I've got to say, the sequel here of the Human Centipede, the V8 Centipede, is much more riveting than the previous film, I must say. There's much more action and much less, PG-13 going on. This is some very tight racing. I was looking on the third-person cameras at certain points, and they're all so close going through certain corners where it really doesn't look like there's any gaps at all. It's so surprising how these cars can run so close and no damage has been picked up. You just get the harrowing feeling that there's going to be some form of contact picked up somewhere. VP Vettel is on VP down Daniel, and it is Vettel who's come out on top here as they come through Parabolica. The Haas is just squeezed out a little bit onto the AstroTurf, but he will get a better run, and he'll get a double toe from the two Sauber cars. This could be a tight one here because the H-Eagle is looking like he's being caught at a rate of knots. Now Daniel is gaining and gaining. Is he going to go for a lunge? No, he does not. He thinks better of it. But yeah, the two Toro Rossos making their way through the field. Next up for them is going to be Tactician. They're working well as a team at the moment to get through these slow-moving cars. Quick note, though, for the leading two, as things stands, I have watched them a few times while this midfield squabble has been going on, and they're really not gaining too much time on the chasing pack. 6 seconds to Davidos, who has been reeled in by Blizzard, who has still got the H-Eagle definitely within his rear view mirror. But yeah, 6 seconds between them, and it's actually getting a little bit lower as Kiski and Davidos are starting to reel it in, especially, in fact, Davidos, Cherry 2-Pie and Casper have traded places. I think there was a team order or teamwork there because Casper is the quicker of the two. But yeah, it doesn't look like they're gaining too much, and I think we're coming into the pit stop window. So Lee Findley or Sean, who will be the first one to pit? If Lee Findley does go early, it will come into some clean air. I believe about 5 to 6 seconds behind where McGrady is, so he should be okay. If I was him, I'd pull the trigger and go for it because Sean will then be under immense pressure to push on his super soft tyres. But they're going another lap 10 of 27. It's tight between the top two, but it's still not close enough. Lee Findley hasn't looked like making a valid overtaking opportunity since really lap 1.
Yeah, Vettel Racer comes into pit lane to get rid of those super softs. He dropped back to nearly a second behind at one point there as those tyres went off, and I think Sean and Lee are just taking it easy at the moment, just trying to make those tyres last as long as they possibly can, so that the soft tyres, they want to put the yellow marked softs on, I'm imagining, just so that they can make sure that they've still got plenty of life in them at the end of the race. So I get you, the whole point with Lee to pull the trigger, put Sean under a bit of pressure. He still wants to be the first one to do that, but they're obviously trying to eke this out. As you said though, Davidos has been reeled in a little bit by Blizzard, who's now within DRS range of the Ferrari. He's still got a H-Eagle behind him, with Daniel in 7th, Tactician in 8th, Casper and Cherry 2 Pie, as you say, trading places. I don't know if it was fully a team order, so I did see in the background one car going wide coming out of the Rogia chicane. So I do think it might have been Cherry, I'm not too sure, but that would have if it was, that would have given Casper the run, and Cherry 2 Pie's now got the attentions of McGrady behind. And just to take note as well, from first all the way down to 12th place, which is where Ruben is, 16 seconds covers the field at the moment. That's how close it is, and it's been like this through most of the year on F2 as Sean comes into pit lane, so the race leader pulls the trigger first rather than Lee Findlay, and you'd expect to see Lee in next time by, but we'll keep an eye on Sean and where he comes out. He's onto the soft tyres now, and that's going to be interesting as to when Lee decides to come into pit lane. Tactician now 6th place, got the attentions of the sister Toro Rosso behind, and this is a lovely overhead camera view going through the Curva Grande. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Very picturesque track, Monza, outside of Milan, and these camera angles are really proving it. But Tactician now the pad runner, so is Lee Finlay nowadays usually as well. I don't think he's switched to the wheel just yet full time, but Tactician is struggling a little bit, and he has dropped a second behind Daniel as well, so he's no longer got DRS to help him out, as Sean picks up a 3-second time penalty, having rejoined out in 10th place. He's managed to get still ahead of Kiski and VP Vettel Racer. Kiski pitted as well. Blizzard, the latest one to pick up a time penalty, having gone through the Ascari chicane, trying to chase down Davidos. Now does Lee Finlay head for pit lane? He's got 5.5 seconds over the field. He's bound to do it, surely. You don't want to leave it too long, and he does indeed, so he heads for pits, and that's going to promote Davidos. So only one lap that a Ferrari's not led the race so far, but now Davidos takes the lead with Blizzard in second, and there's Daniel having a go on the H-Eagle. DRS helping. H-Eagle's not got DRS, he's dropped behind. That's a pretty easy move for the Haas driver. And Casper.
Lee Findlay is actually going to, I think Lee Findlay might come out ahead of Sean here. It's going to be very close. Ooh. It's actually going to be very close indeed. I was keeping an eye on Sean there, and Sean was, the reason why I got a penalty was because of his cold tyres, and they're going to go side by side, and Sean just about gets it done there. So Sean, I think Lee Findlay actually almost played that perfectly with the overcut, because the soft tyres wouldn't get up to temperature, and Lee Findlay was just inches away from taking the lead there from Sean.
That was so close, nearly got it done, but they're back to be within a matter of tenths of each other. But Sean does have that 3-second penalty, so if this does end up being a fight for the lead of the race at the end, if Lee can stick close enough, then it might not matter. But I'm sure he'll want to pass Blizzard right behind Davidos. Casper managed to get past Tactician just before we jump to go and see the battle for what could be the provisional lead in a few laps time. Blizzard is not close enough down towards Parabolica to do anything at the moment, but maybe he can make a go under DRS. Daniel's not far behind, and you can see at the moment now that the pit stops have started, the top 8 are covered by 4 seconds at the moment. That's how close it is. RC Sam, you can see, is in pit lane as Casper goes the fastest lap off the race. He is absolutely flying at the moment. RC Sam is still ghosting around at the moment, so we don't need to worry too much about the Force India. But now it's a case of how long do these soft runners go for? Do they do it for another few laps and go for the medium tyres and keep it simple? Or do they push this as long as possible and try and put the super softs on for a 7 to 8 lap sprint towards the end of the race? It could be interesting to see if somebody decides to take that risk for the end of the race. So we'll need to keep an eye on the strategy, but we're approaching half race distance already as Ruben sets the fastest lap of the race. He's been into the pits a couple of laps ago as well, trying to chase down VP Vettel Racer. And here comes Blizzard, DRS open. He's got the battery turned down at the moment, no, charging it up, coming up to the Ascari chicane. He's right behind that Ferrari, but he's deciding to play it safe at the moment as the Renault driver. Daniel not too far behind. The H-Eagle has got Casper right behind him, heading down towards Parabolica, and I'm sure he's going to try and use the slipstream and DRS down towards the first chicane There's plenty of action. McGrady's right behind Cherry 2Pie as well. So it's just all going on. It's been non-stop since the start of this race. It has just been continuous. It has been relentless, but there has been absolutely fair and square as well. Here comes Casper. He's got the battery turned up as well. He's alongside the H-Eagle, and the Toro Rosso is going to get the move done as Cherry 2Pie thinks about having a look at Tactician behind, but thinks better off it. And that is Casper now up into P4, having gained 14 places since the start of the race. The Toro Rosso driver is on a flyer at the moment.
Yeah, Casper is making his way through nicely, making maximum use of the DRS and the ERS available to him. One thing I have to keep mention though is that the H-Eagle had an absolutely horrendous exit out of Curva Parabolica. He just got lost the rear end slightly and it just hindered him, and that's why he was unable to defend from Casper's pace behind him. As well, I kept an eye on Sean and Lee Findlay. The gap is now starting to increase. He struggled with them cold tyres, as mentioned, that Sean had when he first come in for the soft compound tyres, but he's now really lost that time. He's now starting to try and chip back away. But if they're matching each other's time, 2 seconds is where it's going to be. Davidos has run incredibly wide, which is now going to open up him to the attack from Blizzard, Dan Daniel and Casper behind. As mentioned, the V8 Centipede, it's not really a V6 Centipede. We can all dream one day the V8s will return, but these bad boys are picking up some noise and they're picking up some pace now, especially if you're in a bright yellow Renault, which is hunting down the pole of Davidos, who's going to have to defend bravely here because it is getting closer and closer as they come into the first corner. The chicane's open, overtaking opportunities down there into the chicane, and it opens up a great slingshot heading down into Curva Grande. He's got a good line here, Blizzard, and he is hunting him down. If he can get maximum exit, he's got plenty of ERS available to him. He's been harvesting it up. In fact, I was running on board with him. He's not using it at all. It's quite surprising, really. He's not gaining much, but Dan Daniel is going to try and take advantage of this, go around the outside. He cannot do so, but Blizzard needs to use that ERS available to him because he's running on board. I mean, Davidos has used pretty much all of it, and most of the guys around him are using all of it, but Casper is now getting past Dan Daniel, and Casper might just be the best overtaker we have in F2. He's definitely he'll be in F1 next season with the overtaking and the ability that he's been showing. Absolute 10 out of 10 performance from him. He's being hunted back down though by Dan Daniel, who's got the H-Eagle behind him, and Casper is making mincemeat of these very competitive drivers. And if I was Sean and Lee Findlay and the pace that Casper's showing, I'd be a little bit worried.
Oh, Cherry 2Pie very wide out of Ascari, collected it back together, but he's going to lose 2 places there to Tactician and McGrady. He'd managed to get past the Red Bull the previous lap, lost it through Ascari, and now nearly locks up and goes into the back of the Haas. But well done there from Cherry to hold that and not lose out. Whoa, goodness me!
I was riding on board with Tactician there, I was on board with him, and I just see this guy come out of nowhere, and I'm not lying, a little bit of wee come out.
That was McGrady. We were actually with McGrady there. He tried to slipstream Tactician, not realising the Red Bull was going for pit lane, and he nearly ended up in the wall. That would have been a humongous crash. Tactician obviously got caught out because he picked up a 5-second penalty for it. McGrady's managing to hold off Cherry 2Pie for now, but that was nearly an almighty crash. Ruben's crashed out somewhere on track. We'll see if we can pick him up somewhere. He is out of the race. Yeah,
no, it wasn't Lesmo, no.
No, he's not.
There was dust at Lesmo. I'm not sure if it was someone going off, but I thought it might have been him. But the guys are looking a bit scrappy now, I've been honest. Them softer look like they've fallen off the cliff a little bit now.
Just a little bit indeed, but Blizzard now is in the lead of the race because Davidos has came into pit lane, and look at Davidos, the H-Eagle and Tactician. They've gone for the super softs. They think they can get them to the end of the race and still keep enough life in them. I'm not sure if that might just be a little bit too early, maybe another lap or two is maybe what they could have done with, but they're going for it. They're going for the super softs. They're going to try and fight their way back through the field, and it's going to be interesting. The top 3 all head for pit lane. Blizzard, Casper, Dan Daniel all into pit lane as well. Be interesting to see. Surely it's going to be super softs as well. Cherry 2Pie and McGrady though do carry on for another lap, so Cherry 2Pie is now in the lead of the race, but the Haas driver is right behind him, and it is super softs for those 3 that came into pit lane. Sean now moves into 3rd, and you can see though the Ferrari is enjoying these soft tyres much better than the McLaren behind, because he's pulled 2.5 seconds to Lee Findlay, whereas in the opening stage of the race that gap was not hardly ever under a second all the time. So The McLaren definitely struggling at the moment. Let's see who's where. Kiski is in 5th, Vettel Racer 6. Davidos hunting down Vettel Racer on his fresh super soft tyres, and he's got plenty of speed through the Curva Grande. Jumped to the wrong camera angle at the wrong time, but the Sauber holds on for now. Blizzard is right behind as well in 8th place. The H-Eagle in 9th. Casper now down to 10th after his pit stop, but he's still ahead of Tactician and Daniel, so getting those moves done has helped him to keep some places on the rest of them. And here comes Davidos down towards the Ascari chicane. He's got the DRS, he's got the battery turned up, he's got the inside line for a corner, he pulls back onto the braking line. Pretty easy move there from Davidos, and the Ferrari moves up into P6 as Vettel runs very wide on the exit of Ascari. Blizzard now might fancy his chances at the Sauber coming down towards Curva Parabolica, and surely he's going to just stick behind and pick up the DRS, get a better run out the corner. He is right behind the Sauber. We are now past halfway distance by a good bit. McGrady and Cherry Tupai have now pitted. Davidos sets the fastest lap of the race on his new super softs. Sean takes over the lead of the race from Lee Finley and Kiski, so the top three is still as they were earlier on, and Blizzard looks to the inside line on Vettel Racer. There's contact there, but thankfully no damage as Eagle holds off from Casper, who fancied his chances up the inside, and Blizzard's got a much better run coming through the Curva Grande. Jim Pasty, 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, not a big issue. Blizzard is passed before the Rodria chicane. That's another move done. He's having a much better race, showing some of the pace that me and you both know he is capable of. Ollie here having had a bit of a torrid time so far in F2, but he's really come to play here today. And Casper, he's definitely looking to play here today. He's done amazing so far. Now in 8th place after the pit stops, but looking very feisty. The Saubers are going to fight each other down towards Ascari, and Casper is trying to have a bit into that as well. He's actually going to get past, and Vettel's going to lose possibly 2 places in the space of a corner here through Ascari chicane. He might lose a 3rd place because here comes Tactician, and Tactician's going to fancy his chances on Casper now. Coming towards Parabolica, Tactician's got the outside, Casper to the inside. Vettel's going up the inside to Tactician, though he wants 8th place back, squeezes in his way in, and he's got through, so he only loses 1 place there. But Casper up to 7th, Vettel down to 8th, Tactician holds on to 9th, right behind Alba, coming down towards the Retafilio chicane. Will any of them fancy their chances? Tactician, we know, fancies a late lunch from time to time, but he thinks better off on this occasion, having had a wee sneaky peek. Right, he decides to pull back in. Can he now get a run through the Curva Grande? He is right behind that Sauber coming through the curve, and will he make a move into the Rodria chicane? The Sauber of Vettel's gone to the inside line to defend, a little bit of a lock up there, and that Tactician has to hold on for now. But Sean leads by 2.7 seconds from Lee Finley. We're on lap 19 of 27, and just a quick shout out, Alex in the chat was looking for the Davidos, I believe it was possible to do well. Tom Parker saying what a fun race. Tom Musics is saying hi to us all, and Leclerc giving us a wee hello. He was racing tonight in F1, now that he is a reserve there as Tactician flies past VP Vettel Racer and finally gets the move done under the DRS. I cannot speak. Ollie, please take over.
Well, I've got some important news for you if you want to take a quick...
Where'd Daniel come from? Sorry. I was on board with Vettel there, and after passing Tactician, out of nowhere through the middle of the two of them came Daniel. Where did he come from? He got such a run off the Ascari chicane. Sorry. That was amazing.
Well, Casper's now getting a hell of a run on Damn Daniel when it's another victim for his list. He'll be he'll be making a list and checking it twice, and he's finding out that everybody is on the naughty list as he zips his way through there. Christmas puns a little bit late. January is coming to a close, but we'll count down to the Christmas period once again, and Casper has now got his eyes firmly set on Blizzard. We'll quickly give you 2 notes of importance. First of which, Davidos is just under 3 seconds behind Kiski. He is flying. It was at 5 seconds. He is going at a rate of knots with 20 laps done, 27 laps in this Grand Prix, so 7 complete laps to be done. Sean has a 3-second time penalty. The gap to Lee Finley is 3.2. He will hold on to this Grand Prix victory unless Lee Finley can react very sharpish. So the man to keep a close eye on, as always, has been Casper, but Davidos is flying and could still get himself on the podium. And if he gets close to Kiski, it's not too far from Lee Finley. So we could have ourselves a Ferrari 1-2, and that would definitely make the Tifosi a very, very happy bunch here this evening. Further down, of course, Casper's absolutely making his way through the field, as we expect. Cherry Tupai on VP Vettel is getting tasty once again. All of these drivers are, getting involved in some great battles, and they're all keeping it very clean. Cherry Tupai getting a great exit there, almost clipping the wheel of Vettel Racer. Oh, that was close. Jesus, Vettel tried to defend against Cherry Tupai, and they had to react very sharpish to avoid any contact. We've got 4 cars within a close proximity. Who's going to come out on top? Cherry Tupai will get ahead of the Sauber. The Red Bull and the Sauber are getting close of Tactician and Vettel as they scrap out for these final few points, and McGrady has to slot in P12. The midfield battle is getting very, very tight indeed. Blizzard is onto the rear end of Davidos, so these two are going to be pushing each other around. So we really, if you're Kiske, you're absolutely bricking it at the moment, because you're going to have one of the most dangerous trains you're going to see in the F2 grid. Davidos is no slouch. Blizzard, as we know, has got some pace, and Casper just doesn't take any victims lying down. He'll take them. He doesn't matter if he has to take his prey on foot or if he's a scavenger. He'll take them positions whether you want to or not. His parents are probably watching along and loving what he's doing at the moment. He is a flying... we've got Sean, who is the Flying Dutchman. We could say that Casper is the up-and-comer who's maybe going to come for his crown. I'd say Casper is putting another driver of the day worthy performance. He's hunting down Blizzard, who got a poor exit out of the Scari as they come through Curva Parabolica. He's going to slipstream Blizzard in the Renault. The Brit's not going to have much to defend here against the Dutchman. The slipstream and DRS will be available to him, and of course Blizzard, who will be onto the rear end of Davidos. But Casper and Blizzard are getting closer, but Casper especially onto Blizzard. He's no slouch when it comes to a late braking manoeuvre. But look at the gaps. If you ride on board with Lee Findlay, you can see how close Lee Findlay is to the guys behind. He's dropped really far back to Kiske, and look how close it is. You can see on the camera angle with Lee Findlay how close Davidos and Co are behind him. The super soft runners are hunting them down. Sean might be in safe clean air, but Lee Findlay and Kiske are in deep, deep water.
Yeah, there's an absolute train coming up to them very quickly. I've been trying to jump back and forward because the battle between the likes of McGrady, Vettel Racer, Tactician has just been continuous. They've been slipstreaming each other for lap after lap. Davidos and Blizzard and Casper, etc. are all catching up to Kiske and Lee Findlay as well. They're going to need to be very careful because that train is catching. And even though we're now 22 laps into the 27 laps, look at that. Down to VP Vettel Racer in 12th place, it's only 15 seconds cover the field. And if you take Sean out of the equation, it's only about 11 seconds covering second down to 12th. That's how close it is here on Apex Online Racing's F2 tier here on the PlayStation 4. Fantastic racing through the field, and although we've seen a couple of little moments that nearly happened, including that one with Cherry 2 there with Vettel Racer down the straight the other lap, I've not seen any damage at all. It's been clean racing so far, and hopefully I've not jinxed that. There's Blizzard now. He's got Casper looking to the outside into the first chicane, and the Renault's going to hold on, but Casper's going to go the long way down. He pushes him a little bit. Hard to tell, obviously the game possibly magneting them together, and Blizzard's still going to hold on round the Curva Grande, but that Toro Rosso is looking to take that place from the Renault. Still side by side, heading up to the Roggia chicane. Will the Dutchman put it late in the brakes? No, he decides better off it, and Blizzard manages to hold on for now, but that's dropped him out of DRS range to Davidos, so that's going to give Casper a great chance to get past coming down towards the Ascari chicane here, because he's in DRS range. Blizzard will have no DRS coming down here because Davidos has managed to pull just over a second clear. He's got a second and a half to Kiske, who's right behind Lee Findlay as well, so it's all going off. This is going to go all the way to the line for this race to pick up who finishes where. Lap 23 of 27, Sean's out in front. You can see the chasing pack just behind him coming out off the Ascari chicane as Cherry Tupai picks up a 3-second time penalty. Lee Findlay is in second place, but he's got Kiske right behind him and within DRS range as well in third, so the battle there for the final steps in the podium is going to carry on. We've got 4 laps to go, including this one. And let's see if anyone's going to make a move. Davidos is in clean air. Blizzard's having to defend because Casper's got DRS now going to the outside later on the brakes. Little lock up. Lovely move done. That was beautiful one more time. And Casper now up into 5th place. His next target well, not to the dismay of the home fans, will be Davidos, but Casper still going. Blizzard's going to try and get his place back though. Coming up to the Rodria chicane, let's see if he can do anything. No, he's not close enough to make a braking move, and Casper has the place done. If you are in the chat, don't forget to drop down who is your driver of the race as well. There's quite a few contenders out there. Sean out front has managed this race very well from pole position. We spoke about Casper quite a few times during this race already. Blizzard's done pretty well during this race as well. It's a hard one to pick, Ollie. I'm struggling, to be honest, but if I'm being a bit biased, I'm probably going to go with my pick.
Well, I personally think Nico put in a driver of the day performance, and I don't think anyone can change my mind on that. He has been absolutely... yeah, I know two people that will be voting Casper, and I think I know another two that might be voting for him as well. He's been absolutely sensational, and he's now hunting down Davidos, and I wouldn't put it past him on lap 25 to 27. I'll be honest with you, we've been racing and we've been in this stream for an hour now, and it's absolutely flown by. Can every race be at Italy, here at Monza? You know, the northwest of Italy has been absolutely sensational for racing, and I would probably say this has been up there as one of the best races we've had in the season. We've had some very tight battles, we've had some race battles where it's been last lap battles for the race victory, but this has just been out and out racing from the midfield, and it's a shame we haven't had a huge battle for the lead, but still, it's been a top quality race, and I've got to say, it's still not over, because look at Lee Findlay, he's gaining quite a bit now on Sean, and him and Kieski are starting to push a little bit forward, and if they get another second on Sean, the race victory would be theirs. And I think Sean, I'll quickly have a check on him, I think he may be close to getting another no, he's not. So Sean is guaranteeing 3 penalties. No one else really has any penalties to keep a close eye on, other than Cherry Tupai, which might drop him out of the points at the moment. But Sean needs to be careful, because we know he can be a little bit overeager sometimes when it comes to penalties, but Kieski is trying to push Lee Findlay, and if Kieski gets past Lee Findlay and both of them train DRS, it could be a close battle, and it could still be a nervy few minutes for Sean up top. Davidos is going to defend, and it's something he probably didn't want to be seeing, and it's Casper. It's everyone's worst nightmare, but these two are gaining onto the rear end of Lee Findlay and Kieski at a rate of knots, and all 4 of them are in shot now. If you ride third person with Lee Findlay, all 4 of them are in shot, and there's a few guys in the background with Blizzard and the H-Eagle who are going to try and get involved as well. Kieski is getting a great run on Lee Findlay, and for the first time in this Grand Prix since lap 1, he's got past, but further behind, Casper has gone for a late lunge on Davidos. He's had to defend bravely, Davidos, but Casper does not take any prisoners here. He is absolutely flying, and he's trying to get onto the rear end of Davidos, and he's absolutely flying through Curva Grande now. Is he going to get a good enough run? I'm not too sure. Lee Findlay has been overtaken by Kieski. That could be a nightmare for the Tifosi, but their big nightmare at the moment is the fact that their second man, Davidos, is being hunted down by undoubtedly the most ambitious and the most aggressive in the most clean way possible driver, Casper. At 15 years of age, he's got a very bright future ahead of him in the esports community, and I'm very surprised that no esports team have picked him up. He has been superb this afternoon, starting at the back of the field, and he's battling now for a potential 4th place, which could lead to a podium if he picks his act up. Lap 26 of 27, Sean's about to enter his final lap. He'll not know about the drama that's going on behind him, but Christ almighty, we do.
Absolutely incredible stuff, and a brilliant overhead shot here, heading down towards Parabolica as Casper looks onto the back of the Ferrari. He's going to wait though, because he's going to have DRS and Davidos will not, so it's going to be an easy chance. Now, he went for that switch back into turn 1 there. If he made that move stick and that worked, I would have given that overtake of the season easily, but he's having to have another go here, and he's got plenty of space to do it. Pulls back in front onto the racing line. Pretty easy move in the end, but Casper's now on the verge of a podium, because look ahead, it's Lee Findlay and Kieski are within range. Look at this. This is going to be an absolute epic. All this is doing is giving Sean the perfect chance to pull away. Nearly cutting across there is Kieski on the McLaren, side by side into the Rodria chicane. Lee's going to try and go the long way around. Kieski's round. He's spun his round, unbelievable after the whole race. It's happened at the end. Blizzard's looking up the inside of Casper. He's got the move done into the Lesmo. Unbelievable stuff going on here. Lee gets back into second. Kieski's dropping down the order. I don't know, we'll need to wait and see how that one works out. But Sean's now well out the way. He's got easily enough time, and he's going to take a famous victory, but it's hard to move away and watch him cross the line at the moment, because the action behind him is absolutely epic. You can see him in the distance going through the Parabolica. Ollie, keep an eye on it. I need to see the winner across the line, because here he comes. It's Sean over the start and finish line to win the Italian Grand Prix. Ferrari wins at home, but let's get back to the action behind. Lee Finlay comes out. He is going to take second place, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with that incident. Casper takes the podium.
Yes! Yes! Oh, I was rooting for him. I was gutted for him when he got taken out, but Casper's done it. He got a podium. Oh, what a drive. I'm so happy for him. I'm so happy for him.
Davidos took third on the road but drops down to fifth with penalties. Casper jumps up to third on penalties. The H-Eagle in fourth, Blizzard sixth. Kiski finishes in seventh place despite the spin. McGrady in eighth, Daniel in ninth, Tactician 10th, Cherry 2x11, Vettel in 12th. Jim Pasty's going to be the last one over the line because RC Sam's not in the race. What a finish! That was unbelievable stuff. It was a shame Kiski had to go spinning round. It'll be interesting to see if anything comes with that. But what a race! Unbelievable stuff. But your winner, once again, the second week in a row, it is Sean who wins the Italian Grand Prix. Unbelievable.
Race ban or not, he's going to be the man celebrating, and this is going to be a famous podium. The Tifosi are going to be cheering, the flags will be out, the placards and the giant tifos will be there. The tifo for the Tifosi, the Scarlet Red Ferrari lifts the trophy, and it is a victory that Sean will remember, and it's one that could well give him one step closer to the championship and one step closer to potentially a promotion. Lee Findlay will be in second place. We'll obviously keep an eye on it, but the man of the moment and the man we all wanted to win, there is not, I mean, we could say potential bias, but he wasn't my pick, he was yours, but I'm just over the moon that Casper gets to have this race victory, oh sorry, not race victory, this podium, which feels like a victory, because when that incident happened, he was robbed with Blizzard got past him and Davidos, but we'll run you through one final time of the classifications. It is Sean in the Ferrari who makes this a perfect weekend for him. He picks up the race victory in his home team's Grand Prix. Lee Findlay in second with Casper in a very impressive third to start in 18th. Fourth, the H-Eagle, then Davidos fifth, Blizzard sixth, Kiski seventh. Disappointed for him. He could have probably should have and did deserve a podium. McGrady eighth with Daniel in ninth, making it a VP 8-9. Tactician in 10th. Cherry 2Pie and Vettel miss out on points just, with Pasty, RC Sam, Ruben, Datnek, Ashbest and Nico rounding out the grid, with Ruben down to Nico all picking up the DNFs in that Grand Prix. In the early stages, to be fair, I believe it was in the first 4 laps they all DNF, but I don't really think we need to discuss driver of the day, Andy, because I think we both know who gets it.
Definitely, Casper, just unbelievable. And I want to shout, actually, Lee Finlay, Casper, the H-Eagle and Kiski, around here, no penalties at any point in the race. They finished with a clean race during that, not a single time penalty, so well done to those folks. That was a phenomenal action the whole way through. That midfield scrap especially was absolutely amazing. It was back and forth and it was clean all the way. It's a shame we seen that little bit at the end there that put Kiski round, whether it was his own fault, whether he got a tap off of Lee Finlay, I'm sure we'll hear afterwards, but unbelievable race, absolutely phenomenal stuff. I can see you getting the drivers in to start having a wee chat with us, Ollie. I'm going to leave it in your hands while I go and figure out what the standings are.
Yeah, just going to wait upon Sean, and obviously the race winner. He'll be celebrating in, I imagine, some form of style. We'll start things off with Lee Findlay while he is here, because we have to mention Lee. Congratulations on second, but obviously there was an incident with Kiski. Can you quickly elaborate on us what happened?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what happened, whether there was actually contact or not, because I was going around the outside and I was still there, and then it turned in, and it might have been decent because I don't think I felt any contact, but yeah, I would need to look at the footage back again. It's a shame for Kiski, but when you're fighting for the final lap, at the final lap, and you're trying to overtake someone back, then of course incidents are more likely to happen. But yeah, I'll need to look it back and see, but there wasn't much contact, but yeah, not really sure what happened there.
Well, we'll come back to you quickly once we've spoken to our race winner, as Sean has joined us. Sean, congratulations on another Grand Prix victory. It's back-to-back wins for you. Obviously, in that intense race, you've picked up a nasty cough. Let's hope you don't die in the meantime while we're... Congratulations on back-to-back wins, and what is probably the most... I'm not sure whether this or Belgium was more special for you, but this is going to be a big one, winning it for the Ferrari home race. It was... I wouldn't say an easy Grand Prix victory. You was battling with Lee for quite a while on the first stint, but it was very straightforward for you.
Yeah, sorry for almost dying, but yeah, at the end I was so lucky that Lee just jumped off the cliff, you know, with those softs. Cause on the super stints, you know, I was so surprised he still keep up with me. But yeah, I kept him away from the DR zone, you know, in the corners that mostly matter. So. That's why I wasn't too much in danger with the DRS from him. But then it was on lap 10 and my tires filled a little bit, you know, just falling off the cliff. So I pitted on lap 10 for softs, but I was held up in the pits and I felt like, oh god, not this time. So I just made the undercut work on Lee Fendley. And all of a sudden, you know, he just dropped and I was so surprised for that. And when it hit a 3-second mark, I just played with my ERS and fuel, just saving and a little bit little posting, but then at the end the gap was more and more increasing, so I thought, okay, I got this in the back. And then Dower said like to me, if they only crashed, and then all of a sudden he went crazy when Lee and Kiski crashed, so that's gonna be one for the stewards. And yeah, overall I think this one was like the more special win than Belgium.
Well, how important is this for you? Because obviously you had that race ban, you picked up a very important win where you picked up 25, or around about 25 points on the H Eagle to regain your championship lead. And this one now gives you that bit of a cushion as you head into the back end of the season throughout the Asian Grand Prix and the flyaways as they're known as. How important was it picking up this win today, especially with everything that's been going on with race bans and so on?
Yeah, it's just going pretty well. I mean, for all the haters that's with me, I can't put up my big middle finger. But yeah, this win extra, you know, just my only thing was if I can above the 25 points mark, you know, then I'm just secured. But this Eagle in fourth place, me in first, you know, just I think the gap's now over 30 points, I believe. So I just have like a nice backup, you know, if I have a bad race. So. I think Singapore is going to be a tough one with the tire wear and tire temps for everyone I heard. So if I have a bad result there, you know, I think Japan is mostly my favorite one. So I'm looking forward for that. But Singapore is going to be a very hard one in all honesty.
Well, yeah, you mentioned Singapore. It's going to be a tough one. You mentioned haters there. Is there anyone in particular that maybe races here, or anyone that isn't a fan of you that you think is you're slowly shutting up when it comes to races?
I think everyone knows by now which drivers I had incidents with, and from all the other guys I had criticized by that I need to sort out my driving style. Well, at the beginning of the start I was pretty aggressive because Kiski had just an amazing start, you know, just maybe not at first, but when he climbed up the gears, I was so surprised. So I braked his legs in and maybe hit him a little bit, but I think nothing really to worry about, just think first lap. But yeah, I think some drivers hating me with that, but I'm just gonna keep going and ignore those things.
Well, congratulations on a flawless Grand Prix win. All you needed was that fastest lap and it would have been perfect, but a great race for you nonetheless. We'll go back to Lee now. Obviously, we've mentioned the instrument key ski, so we'll talk about your race. And Sean did bring it up about the drop-off in the second stint for you. You were so tight to him in the first stint on the super softs, but then when it comes to the soft compound tyres and you got that great overcut that almost got you the jump on it, it just seemed to drop off. What happened?
Well, I'm not really sure. I think well in the first one I was able to keep up with him, but like when I almost made the overcut work, think the issue I had like on the first lap was the cold tires, and then as soon as he broke the DRS, he was able to pull away because like I know myself that I don't normally fight in a position as high up as this because like in qualifying the rain helped me. I should have got pole until I crashed in the final lap. But yeah, in terms of the race, not sure. I think the fact that Sean is really quick. I just couldn't match him, and then yeah, Kiski was catching me up, and then he overtook me, and then of course we made the contact. But I'm really happy with second place. It's the highest position I've had in a while. So hopefully, if Kiski makes a inquiry, but hopefully I won't get a
penalty.
A penalty because. But I would need to look at the footage, but yeah, it's a shame for Kiski because he had really good pace as well. But yeah, I'm happy to get second place, but obviously not in the way that I wanted to because it is a shame that we both made contact. I don't know if it was desync or what, but it was a shame. But really happy to be competing high up.
Well, yeah, congratulations on a very good race and second place. Obviously, stewards will do what they do, and if it goes there or not, it was still a very competitive and I would say clean. It was a pretty clean race from you. Apart from the one incident, which whether it's desynced or not will be decided. We now move on to the main event, the moment me and Andy have been waiting for. And this one is a huge shout out to the parents of one Dutchman who has taken the hearts of us all. Casper, with one of the best performances in PS4's F2. No offense, Sean, I know you won a race, but this Dutchman has outperformed you this afternoon, or this evening. Casper, what a race. Starting 18th, finish third, and you deserve this podium.
Oh, thank you. I can't believe it myself, starting from 18th. My wet pace was terrible, as always, and I couldn't match Sean in qualifying. So, yeah, starting from the back, I thought let's just have a fun race and a recovery drive, and I managed to pick up many positions every single lap, and then climb my way onto the podium. Because I knew the two guys who finished ahead of me, they had penalties. I knew that because I asked Jeff about it, and I got P3. So this one's for you, Mum and Dad.
Well, I dare say they'll be very proud of the performance. Obviously, Andy mentioned in the stream about how they watch. We have to mention ask, of course, though, is it nice to have that sort of support and that around it? Because I've got to say, the performance today, I'm very surprised you have been snapped up by an esports team.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fans watching. Also my parents, and I'm really happy I can make them proud with my performances, and I'm really happy myself as well after a bad race in Belgium last week with the desync. What happened on lap 1 with Davidos, but now a very clean race, no penalties. I had 2 corner cutting warnings, so I didn't get a penalty. I was really happy about that, and surprisingly, yeah, my pace it was just great. Before the race, I wasn't really sure what setup I would be running because I like understeer setup, so 7 ballast or 8 ballast. I wasn't sure about that. I asked my teammate, and he said just go with 8. So I went with 8 ballast, and it worked really well. So
Wow.
thanks to Joe too.
Yeah, well, no, we won't mention his name. It's like if that name sets Sean off, we'll try and keep it on. We'll keep it on the down low. But yeah, it was a great race, and you picked off some fantastic overtakes. And I have to quickly ask. Of course, we're at the halfway stage of the season. Championship-wise, it's very unlikely you're going to get, but you can still get yourself involved in there. It's very unlikely though. You will, sadly. But next season, Casper. Is your eyes and your target firmly set on that championship? Because other than Sean and his rival, the H Eagle, you're definitely the quickest guy overall, race pace wise. It's just about getting that consistency, as you mentioned, with qualifying. But do you reckon you can set your targets in the next few seasons about maybe even being in F1?
Well, I would love that. Everyone would love to be F1. So that's the ultimate goal. But if I'm in F2 again, I'm also really happy, because then I'm just aiming for the title and the championship. This season I'm gonna aim for P3. So Sean in P1 or H Eagle in P1 and then P2 of course. And I'm in P3, that's what I hope. And then for next season, hopefully I can fight for the title in F2, or if I'm in F1, just get top 5 finishes and all those things.
Well, congratulations once again, and now we're going to head over to Andy, who has been punching the numbers for the championship. We know who's on top. It's Sean, and he has extended his championship, but how big is it, Andy?
Well, it's an interesting point, and Sean obviously in the lead. 203 points the Dutchman is now on. The H Eagle is in second on 171 points. So the gap is 32 points. You were right, Sean. It is over 30 points now. So you've got over a full race victory in the bag at the moment. And obviously we heard the other week from the H Eagle at Hungary. He's got a couple of races that he's going to be missing later into the season. So, you know, very, very strong place at the moment. Casper with that last lap dash third place with the penalties there moves into third place with 131 points. Davidos jumps up into fourth place on 126 points. Tactician drops down 2 places to 5th on 123, and Lee Findlay is in 6th on 122. So 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th are within 9 points of each other. Next one up is Spider on 100. Everyone else is miles off the pace in that regards. So the big battle seems to be not just for who's going to win, but that third place is so tight, and it could be anybody's come the end of the season. In the constructors, not much change. There is one change in the top 5. Ferrari still lead. They're now on 329 points. First team to crack 300 points this season. Sauber in second on 221. Red Bull drop down to 4th place as McLaren jump up into 3rd. McLaren on 183, Red Bull on 180, Toro Rosso on 149, but a couple of good performances from Casper, then he could easily be in the mix for that one as well. So changes about. That battle for 3rd is definitely going to go all the way to Abu Dhabi at the end of the season. I'm absolutely sure of that. But we have fantastic home victory. It's Sean, 2 races back to back and a home win for Ferrari at Monza. Now next week is the Singapore Grand Prix from the Marina Bay circuit over in Singapore for the start of the flyaway races. Now myself, I won't be there next week because unfortunately where I'm going to be next Sunday has about 1 megabits worth of download speed on the internet, so it's just not going to happen. So I don't know if you'll be going solo with this one, Ollie, or if someone will be joining you, but I'm sure there will be a stream regardless, and we'll find out later on in the week. I will be back the following week for Russia, so it's only just a 1 week thing, all going well.
Singapore. It's...
Yeah, Singapore's next week. I'm missing. I'll be back for Russia.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Lee. You're Scottish like me. You're supposed to understand my accent. Come on. But that does it for the coverage here this evening for the Italian Grand Prix. My thanks to everyone that was watching and enjoyed such a fantastic race and got involved in the chat as well. For myself, for Ollie, for all the drivers, for AOR as well, thank you for watching. And until next week, take care, and we will see you again soon. Ta-ra.